Congratulations! You've made it to the final step of our Building a WordPress plugin project. Now, it's time to talk about the essential steps of marketing and supporting your plugin. Just like when we build a website for a business, it doesn't mean that just because the site goes online that anyone's going to visit it. Now, if you host your plugin on the WordPress repository, you have some advantage because if someone searches for a term that matches what your plugin does, it will likely show up. Unless, of course, there are a bunch of other plugins that exist that do the same thing. However, you might want to take some steps to further get the word out there about your plugin. I would suggest that once you release your plugin, you contact some WordPress sites that do reviews of plugins and ask them to write a review of your plugin. Some of the most popular sites don't really take requests to review plugins as a general rule, so you might want to find some middle-of-the-road sites like those run by individual WordPress enthusiasts. For example, I regularly review plugins on my wp.zachgordon site, and while you may not reach a huge audience from this, if you reach out to a number of these types of sites, you will likely get a more tightly knit community who are more likely to remember your plugin. You should also get out on the social network to market your plugin. If you're on Twitter, for example, make sure you use hashtags for your tweets with relevant keywords. A number of Twitter accounts automatically retweet WordPress-related posts. Of course, building your own plugin site for your plugin and optimizing that for search terms will help you show up not only for search results that lead to the plugin listing on WordPress.org, but also to your own site. More and more developers are hosting their own plugins on GitHub, especially when they allow other users to fork their code. Now, when you're making a premium theme, this becomes all the more important since you won't have people finding your plugin through the WordPress repository. You may also want to look into listing your plugin on premium plugin marketplaces like CodeCanyon. A lot of people in the WordPress community feel that no plugin developers should charge for their plugin. Since you can get WordPress for free, the mentality is, why isn't everything related to WordPress free too? However, offering plugins for free is not always a viable option for developers. When a plugin requires extensive support, you will likely run yourself into the ground trying to keep up with support tickets. If you find that you cannot keep up support for your plugin without receiving compensation, then you may have to make the difficult decision to charge for your plugin. Note, though, that unless your plugin meets a specific niche that other free plugins don't, or your plugin doesn't really provide a high quality level, you will likely see little to no sales for your plugins since most people will just search the WordPress repository to find what they need. With premium plugins, you really have to put effort and time into marketing your plugin and making sure you rank among the first few results when someone searches for a WordPress plugin with the functionality that you provide. Now, let's talk about support. Support comes in a few forms. Helping users troubleshoot problems setting up or using your plugin, maintaining an FAQ that you can reference so you don't have to answer all questions and you could just point people to pre-written instructions, keeping up with any third-party services that your plugin relies on, like the Twitter API, or in our case, the Treehouse API, fixing bugs, responding to feature requests, and maintaining your website and support forums or ticketing systems. To best handle expectations, especially with feature requests, you should clearly communicate with users using something like a roadmap that lets them know what you currently have on your plate or what you plan to work on in the future. When answering support tickets, you will want to make sure that you do so in a timely manner. You do not have to respond immediately, especially when it takes you away from paid work. However, you should not leave users hanging for too long with problems that prevent them from using your plugin. Again, help manage expectations of users so they know what to expect from you in terms of a timely response. If you build up a community around your plugins, you may find that they help answer questions for you. All right, we've reached the end of our WordPress plugin project. I would highly suggest that you now go on to build your own plugin. Even if you build something like a slideshow plugin that many other developers have tackled, it's essential that you ground your knowledge now with the experience of tackling a real-world plugin. I've also provided some extra credit assignments along the way that can help guide you through this process. Don't forget, though, to share your plugins up on the Treehouse forums. We love hearing from students who showcase their work. So, until next time, keep on learning.